Well, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60 and another brilliant day to be working on my lovely N54. Thank you everyone for all the nice comments in yesterday's video. I have tried to reply to everyone, which did take a few hours, but I hope I didn't miss anything. You guys are just friggin' great. Yeah, so today I'm hoping to get most of the things swapped onto the new engine. Most of the things, and there is a lot to swap. Just a quick update, I did come in here and have a bit of a clean up this morning, tried to organise the tools and whatnot, so everything's just a bit easier to get rolling today. But while I was sort of cleaning up, I did get the steering column off. As soon as the force was off of that joint, it actually slid off quite easy, so a bit of a lesson learned there. I was just obviously pulling on it the wrong way. But while we're here, I just thought I'd have a quick look at these 17T turbos. If you're new to the channel, these are the Chinese 17Ts. They've been on the car, been on this engine for about 2, maybe 3 months. Admittedly, a month of that has been sitting since the engine's been a problem, but yeah, fair bit of surface rust on the manifolds. I guess you sort of got to expect it for anything cast iron, which is what they are, where the original ones are sort of pressed steel. But yeah, no external visual issues with them. I was wondering if we were going to see any weird like oil dripping down from any of the housings, but everything actually looks pretty good. Yeah, so far so good. Man, so much mess. I was kind of hoping that with the engine sitting on the subframe here, I'd have access to most of this, but with the way the engine mount works, I think I'm going to have to pull off the subframe to get the turbos off, which we'll crack on. Yeah, in today's episode, I really want to get everything swapped over. However, because of my comment replying and a bit of running around this morning, it is now nearly 11:30, and I have got a friend of the family coming round to get his suspension checked shortly on his E90. He's got a knock and he's a bit worried about it, so I said bring it around, we'll just make sure it's all safe. But yeah, hopefully we'll get most of it swapped over. And isn't the wiring just an absolute mess? JB4 life. There might be a cheap way to go fast, but God, they're a mess. Anyway, all right, I'm going to crack on with this. I will give you guys an update when something exciting happens. But yeah, I think I just need to get to work. Okay, so I've had a bit of a untangle of the wires, and I'm feeling a lot better about it already. Basically, the way the JB4 was sort of looped in with the connectors, it was all sort of tangled, but because it's got these connectors, I could unconnect them and untangle it, and it's actually not so bad, so that's okay for now. And I thought, right, let's work on getting the wiring off. Now, the main sort of top part, or the first part of the wiring harness that I'm going to remove is the coils and the injector wiring. And while I was in there, I thought, well, I may as well swap it straight over to the new motor, and that's what I'm going to do. And I have got new plugs, but these plugs have done like less than 2,000 Ks. They've been in there since the 17Ts have been in there. I'm just going to visually inspect them, make sure the gaps are still what they were when I put them in, and reuse them instead of throwing away, because they should still be okay. It was not misfiring. In fact, it was firing too well, which is why it's probably bent the rod and damaged the ringland. And then we'll swap the injectors in as well. I know the internet's going to hate me for this, but I'm going to try reusing the injector seals. Now, I have new ones. I have 12 new injector seals, but Jake, the dude that works at BMW, said he has swapped heaps of injectors without replacing the seals. Take them out, put them straight in, they're fine. And Tony from Vargas, obviously he was the overdrive your direct injection king before the helixes come out, so he would have damaged quite a few injectors as he was overworking them. And he said the same thing. He has removed and refitted injectors plenty of times and got away without replacing the seals. I'm going to try it. Might be a bit of a learning curve for us, but they might not work. But worst case scenario, I'll just have to change the seals, and they're pretty easy to get to once the motor's in anyway, but it will depend on what they look like once I get them out. Anyway, I'll keep getting on with that. This is plug number 6. Now, I had this out when I first had the issue with the engine, and as you can see, it's actually covered in water. That's because for, I don't know, 3 weeks the car's been outside with a broken engine. I haven't had the weather shield or weather tray on the back. Yeah, so water has gotten down into the spark plug hole, which is a bit annoying, but we'll give it a brake clean, a blow off, and she'll be good. Well, I thought I'd better give you an update. It's actually now 2:30. I can't remember if I mentioned it in the intro, but I ended up spending a fair bit of time trying to sort out the suspension knock on the family friend's E90, and it turns out to be a loose battery after pretty much doing all of the suspension. Anyway, moving on. The process of swapping the bits over. So I've sort of got a bit stuck, and I've been thinking about the best way to do it, and I can't really work it out. So I was planning to remove the wiring. I want to get all the wiring off, but I can't undo these two wires. One is the main power wire for the water pump, and the other one goes to a few different sensors, but they're so entwined down in there, I just cannot undo them. So taking the wire off whilst it's on the subframe is not an option. That means it's got to come off the subframe. But in the meantime, I did pull the downpipes off, and I was just seeing if I could get access to anything. Interestingly, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it, I might have to take another photo, but there's a ton of oil in that front turbo housing. The rear one, little bit damp, but not as bad. But hopefully you saw it in yesterday's video. When I started this car yesterday, it was blowing a hell of a lot of smoke, which it's never done before. So I don't know if it's a build-up of something in the head. It'd be interesting to see if there's oil in the top parts of the manifold, or if they have blown turbo seals already. Who knows? Other things to note, which I better update you guys on. My customized outlet, I don't know if you saw in the install video, but I actually had to bash it to fit it on. I didn't bash it enough, so that does need some work before the outlet goes back on. I think what I'm gonna do is actually, so I've moved the wiring harness off that side. The reason I like doing it on here, it's actually quite stable, believe it or not, like that is rock solid. I'm going to take the inlet manifold off, the fuel rail off, and that's probably about all I'm going to be able to do there. Maybe the fuel pump, pardon me, got the hiccups. But once that's off, it's going to be a matter of getting the gearbox off and then actually lifting it up off the subframe. So I'm going to crack on with it. I don't think I'm going to time lapse it because it's just going to be too many time lapses. So I'll give you an update once I've got all that stuff done. But I think that's it. I've just got to crack on. I need to get it sorted. All right, I'll keep working. Okay, time for a quick update because she's getting there. So I've got the Index 12 injectors into the new motor. As I said at the start, I'm going to try and just reuse the original seals. I have checked them all. I've taken some photos of them, which I'll try and overlay over this. And like I said, I know people that apparently if you take them out and put them straight back in, the seals still seal. I did clean all the injectors to make sure there was no corrosion from that head there. We'll see how they go. I'm going to do a compression test before it goes in the car anyway, so hopefully we'll pick up if we've got any issues. But aside from that, we've got the injectors in and the high pressure fuel rail. And I know I said I was going to take it off, but I've realised there's heaps of stuff on this side that I've actually got access to. So I'll try and take it off while it's sitting on the stand. Next in line is going to be the high pressure fuel pump. But to get to that, I've just got to undo that line. I have got the intake manifold off and my port injection rail. It's got these terrible O-rings for the sealing, which I might go and try and get some new ones so that we're running on fresh O-rings instead of trying to rely on these to seal again, because it's just such a small surface to seal on. Like they stick out maybe 1/2 mil, and it just makes me nervous. What else? Got to swap the studs over for the port injection rail, and then the starter motor, I think. I'll do the alternator, the AC compressor. I can do all that while this is still on there, and basically just get as much weight off it as we can so it's easier to lift over. But yeah, it's all sort of going okay. It's just taking a bit longer, but today has been, there's just been other things going on. But hopefully that doesn't make this video too bad. And I did also nearly lose a finger when the light decided to kill me. It wasn't even working on the car, it was the light. Yeah, but the reason I'm going to end this video off today is I'm being a bit sneaky. I'm going to do a bit more work on this, but I do need to get this video edited, and something is arriving which I know is going to take up more of my time today. So I'll show you a quick sneak peek of it. You'll have heaps of room. I'm just gonna... Well, there it is. We bought another one.
Another one.
And it's modified. So yeah, I wasn't gonna end the video off just there, but I have spent an hour and a half playing with this car, and there will be a full video coming on it. It's gonna have one of those clickbait YouTube titles when it does come out, because this was the cheapest running and driving N54 in the world, I think. However, it has got a few problems. Which should be fun to fix. I'm looking forward to having a play with this car. Anyway, there'll be a full video coming on it. It is 5 o'clock. I'm going to get this video edited, and I'll try and do a bit more work on my E92 swapping bits over tonight. But you'll see me again on tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Team N54 is alive and well. Well, it will be soon. Got 3 of them now. Catch you on the next one. Peace. Last little snippet. I need to get it up to the shed to put it on charge because the battery is a bit low. So we'll put it in drive. We'll even go sports mode. And ready? That's it. Oh, and that makes a lot of noise. But this is as fast as it goes.